Special stages can either be a fantastic or awful part of any Sonic game, but it's hard to get an overview of which is which. So today I'm going through every single Sonic special stage from worst to best, because I really don't have anything more important going on. The D tier. Do you even need to explain this one? Like, it's Sonic Blast. I think it's pretty obvious. For some reason, this game just can't seem to get anything right, including the special stages. These are just really slow, boring, and have some troubling depth perception. It's pretty obvious why this would be at the bottom of the list. Speaking of bad depth perception... yeah, for not counting the ways you actually enter into them, these are definitely the worst special stages out of all the advanced games. Unless you're like, you know, a little Sonic nerd speedrunner who's perfected the run or something, it's just too hard to land on any of these rings. It makes for a special stage experience that, while visually pleasing, doesn't really result in any fun gameplay. I'm sorry, but this one's just not fun to me. GBA fake 3D confuses my little low IQ monkey brain. I wish we could get some real 3D. Well, be careful what you wish for. A lot of people think these are the worst special stages of all time, but honestly, come on. It's still pretty close though, like, don't start getting the wrong ideas here. This one's notorious for using the 3DS's gyro controls, which is why it's at the bottom of the list for a lot of people. It honestly would have been better if you had actual thumbstick controls, but concept-wise, I don't mind it. The music absolutely carries it too. Right off the bat, these are probably one of the lamest special stages I've ever played. Literally all you do is run around for a bit, maybe do the occasional rare jump, grab the rocket shoe power-up, and fly to the end. There's literally nothing else to this. Is it so weird that I was expecting a special stage to actually be special? Would you look at that, another 8-bit Sonic game. You just bounce on springs, nothing crazy. They're kinda charming, and the music is catchy, but when it comes to the gameplay, it's just a bit too basic to put any higher on the list. Also, it doesn't even give you a Chaos Emerald, so can we really even consider this a special stage? Yes. This C tier. This is for the special stages that I think are fine to go through, but aren't really excited for when I replay a game. These are similar to Sonic Chaos in how it's quite literally just a normal stage. Well, at least this one has some variety with the tornado segments. The Sonic Advance flashbacks are not a good sign, but to be honest, I don't mind these. They're a little bland and uninspired, but pretty much harmless in the grand scheme of things. Nothing too special. Okay, here we go. Strap in, boys. I'm not a huge fan of the Sonic 1 special stages. I know they're iconic, blah blah blah, but you know what else is iconic? My puke hitting the monitor. I love jokes that make no sense. The fact that the jump is so unreliable is really not a good thing. I constantly live in fear of not knowing if my input will be registered or not. Sure, the graphics are iconic, but gameplay-wise, there's a lot better on the list. Okay, I probably shouldn't have said it like that. Honestly, aside from the weird ring gates, I kinda like these more than the Sonic 1 special stages. The fact you actually get to control the stage surrounding Sonic here gives the player a lot more control. Maybe it's just because they're easier, but I don't really mind these. I'm not a huge fan of the Sonic Hero special stages. I think these are just okay. They're either way too jank or a breeze, and that doesn't really help their case at all. When replaying Heroes, it's not something that I look forward to, but I can jank through them every now and then. I'm surprised it took us this long to get a half-pipe. They're literally just Sonic 2 special stages, except the render distance is turned all the way down. The objects come at you a bit slower, so they're definitely more doable than you think, but come on. I would rather play any other half-pipe. Now we've come to the B tier. Definitely not my favorites, but I don't mind playing them. You'd think these are just as bad as Sonic Advance, but these are actually a lot more doable. Maybe it's just because the hitbox is a lot more reliable, but I don't actually mind these. I like that you can actually jump on the badniks, and the design of them leads to pretty fun segments. They're way better than Sonic Advance, and a decent little minigame, but nothing more. Yeah, a lot of people don't know about this, but the PC version of Sonic 3D Blast actually had a unique half-pipe to the Saturn version. They're a lot more fast-paced than your usual half-pipe, which makes them a bit more exciting. The penalty for getting hit here is also a lot more forgiving, so you can actually get through these pretty easily. Also, the music absolutely slaps, but it's 3D Blast, so come on. Sure, they're easier and a bit less exciting than the PC version, but I think they're a lot more charming. The 3D effects are impressive here, and the music is pretty good as well. To be fair, it sounds more like a bonus stage than a special stage, but I still think it fits. As for the gameplay, you just run forward and collect some rings, maybe stop the wall. I don't know. There's nothing too extraordinary. I'm just biased. These are actually not too bad. They're pretty decently challenging, but never really feel unfair. Sometimes the half pipe turns into a full pipe, which is really cool, and it just adds a bunch of new gimmicks to the original formula. Although it is just another half pipe, and they do require a fair bit of memorization, so I wouldn't really put it at the top of the list. Okay, really gotta set aside the whole collecting medals thing, because if you look at these stages in a vacuum, they're actually not half bad. These are definitely the most doable special stages in the Sonic Advance trilogy. Sure, they're a little repetitive and can get a bit stale after a bit, since you're basically just running around a big square, but I still think these are pretty fun. They're a nice little time waster. Now we're at the A tier. These are the special stages that I really do find some enjoyment out of, and would gladly replay when I get the chance. Yeah, well, the HD version lacked any sort of special stage, unless you count Gameland, which we don't count Gameland. The DS version has a full-on half-pipe. You actually control Sonic with the stylus here, which makes him really snappy and responsive. These are a lot of fun, but it's just a shame they're a bit on the easy side. There aren't really any obstacles for you to dodge, which I wouldn't mind having since we have such responsive controls here. But they're still a lot of fun, and I don't mind going through them when I replay the game. I really don't know what these graphics are supposed to be, but I'm all for it. They're a bit laggy and unresponsive in the original, but the origin support definitely makes it shine the most. Seeing the UFOs is pretty satisfying in my opinion, and I definitely appreciate the different wacky backgrounds for each stage. Look at how majestic some of these look. It really makes every stage feel unique. I think I mostly like this one for its charm, but hey, sometimes that's good too. A special stage on a jet ski? Yeah, they're pretty cool. These are really fast-paced and exciting in my opinion. They can get pretty dang challenging, which I don't actually mind for these. I mean, I'm having fun pulling off all the tricks, and the precise stylus controls definitely help to keep this fair. They work pretty well in my opinion. These are basically just the hero special stages, but with the boost formula. I think they're a lot of fun, but some people say they're way too easy, which I never understood, because since you get a rank at the end here, the challenge really comes from pulling off a perfect run. The later stages can actually get pretty tough to S rank, but when I eventually pulled it off, it felt amazing. I definitely think more special stages should take advantage of a ranking system. These are pretty good. I mean, come on, they're iconic. This is the flagship Sonic special stage. You gotta give it a bit of credit. While the original is a bit dated, the updated graphics and Origins make these a lot more fair. Now the challenge comes more from reaction time than memorization, which I think is a lot better. Maybe it's just because I've gone through these so many times, but these will always hold a soft spot for me. Well, you made it to the S tier, so here are my top 5 all-time favorite Sonic special stages. I mean, come on. Are you really surprised? Blue Spheres is iconic. There's no way I could have put this any lower on the list. They're definitely not my favorites, but they deserve to be in the S tier. I especially like all the different gimmicks you can interact with here. The bouncy spheres, the bumpers, the red spheres, I interact with those the most. Next for a special stage that feels very polished. Definitely deserves to be in the S tier. Yeah, I only like these special stages because they remind me of Run 3. This one's definitely deserved as well. Another stylus special stage. This one is practically identical to the ones in Colors DS, except now with actual obstacles. It's no wonder these work so well. The controls are so precise, it always feels fair. Also, they're straight up stylish, something that Rush knows all about in general. They're challenging, but never unfair, and I think that makes for a perfect special stage. Guys, it's low poly Sonic. What more is there to say? Well, quite a lot actually. The thing I like the most about these is that they aren't afraid to throw you off the path for some variety. Sometimes you'll hit a spring and land on an upper path. Sometimes you have to jump off an edge, maybe the path itself, twists and twirls. The gameplay here is very diverse. These are, by far, the best half-pipe special stages. It also has the same music from the PC version, so that automatically makes it great, but, you know, the gameplay's cool too. I absolutely love these. I just wish more people could experience them, since emulation for the Saturn is a little iffy. come on, you already knew this was coming. Of course, Sonic Mania has the best special stages out of any Sonic game. As usual, the music goes hard here, but do I really need to say that? The graphics are charming, the music is good, the gameplay is very skill-based, you know all of this already. It's the perfect balance between accessible and challenging, and the fact that it takes a bit of inspiration from every special stage is very admirable. So here's the final result. I've left a link in the description to the tier list I used to make this video, so if you want to make your own, you can go there, and maybe share them on Twitter or something. And if you want to see more of my tier list, then I got the perfect video for you right here.